Welcome to Market Moments, the podcast where creativity meets community. I'm Monique.
I'm Nikki.
Join us each episode as we dive into the inspiring stories, innovative ideas, and heartfelt connections that make our communities so special.
From makers turning their passions into purpose to the vibrant communities built around handcrafted goods, we're here to celebrate the artistry and the people behind every market moment.
So grab your favorite cup of tea.
Because we're going to spill some tea.
Settle in and join us as we craft a stronger community,
one market moment at a time. Welcome back!
Episode 2.
At some point, we're going to forget what episode we're on, so enjoy the ride while it's happening right now while we still remember where we're at.
Yep. Well, and then on top of that, we're just also recording episodes, so they're probably not going to be in an order. So we're going to just stop mentioning numbers after this.
Yeah. We'll say 1 and 2 for sure, okay, and then that's about it now.
Yeah.
Yes. So the one thing is, because these are all pre-recorded, obviously it just makes it easier because we both run businesses and then have kids and grandkids and all that stuff. So life happens. So these are not live episodes. So eventually we'll probably do some live stuff.
Yeah.
But right now we're not live.
Yeah.
So.
And some of them are old, so if you don't hear us talking about current events, that's why.
Exactly.
If we're not telling you about Christmas markets and it's Christmas time, it's because it's probably July 1st. So
valid point.
Yeah.
Valid point. Yeah. Yes.
We'll mention seasons, but when we mention them.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Enjoy the ride.
Yep.
Buckle up. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. We're a little chaotic up in here.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. We should probably let people know, so we don't we just wing it. Whatever we feel like talking about is what we're gonna talk about.
Yeah.
So,
this isn't scripted. We're not.
Yeah.
The most scripted we did was our intro.
Yeah. I'm really proud of that. We did really good on our intro. Yeah. But that's it. As far as scripting goes, that's it. We're done. So,
this is all just off the fly, whatever we feel like talking about.
So we don't even know what's going to come out of our mouth. So,
have fun.
Enjoy it. Enjoy it. So exciting. So we've been talking about, the last episode, because these ones are specifically air in the order that we recorded them. Yes. So in our last episode, we were talking a lot about being a vendor and kind of how to get started and what to do. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to cover some about being hosting markets today. I did want to pick, there was a couple things that I was thinking about after we recorded that episode as being a vendor, because there's one question that I get asked a lot, as a host, and it pertains to being a vendor. Is do you need permits? Mm-hmm. That's a big one, and so I kind of want to talk about that because I know some if you are going to take this venture that you're on full time, you're committed, you're going to do it. I highly suggest that you get your proper permits.
Correct.
Highly suggest it.
If you look in your state to see what's required. In California, even if you're not a business, you're just a person who wants to go out and sell stuff, you need to have a
seller's permit. Yes.
And then that means you have to collect taxes and then you pay on those taxes.
Yes.
Sales tax, right?
Yes.
So, and that's the bare minimum. No matter who you're at, and they're easy to get, at least in California.
Literally, I got approved in minutes.
Yeah, you go online, you fill out a form, and they email it to you in minutes. Literally minutes.
I gotta file mine.
I know.
It's due January 30th. I just remembered that.
Yeah.
I was I gotta do that.
Anyway. But I know. Another thing, too, stay organized, because a lot of times you're also waiting on paperwork. Right now, I am waiting for Venmo to send me my 1099 so I can file those dang taxes, and they haven't sent it yet. So be as organized as you can, because if you're behind and then your different point of sale systems are behind, it's gonna kill you. It's gonna kill you. So stay on top of your stuff as much as you can. Don't my first year, I was well, I'm not gonna have that many sales. I don't need to worry about it. I'll do it all when my taxes come. Don't do that.
Yeah,
that's awful.
Big mistake.
It was awful, and I'll never do it again. So now I do it once a month, because I hate doing paperwork all the time. So
that's a good way of doing it.
Yeah, so I do it once a month. I sit down. I have a spreadsheet where I log all my sales and my inventory, everything. And once a month I go in and I do it. So now that it's the end of the year and I have to file my taxes, it's there and it's ready to go.
That's a good way of doing it. I'm a little obsessive. So I'm a weekly type of person where, I have my spreadsheet created. And so it's just kind of easy to just boop, 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 put it all in. And then, but it takes a while to get it all set up. But I mean, I definitely, if you're vending at a market, like, take a notebook with you, write down what you're selling it for, all that good stuff. When it comes to the taxes, the one thing that I did is because some people, like, when you go to the event, like, they'll charge you, like, the cost and then plus tax. I chose to just, because you can do it a couple different ways. What I chose to do to help offset that was I just included the tax into my product. So, like, say if I sold something for $15, I would sell it for like $16 or $17 now, just so that way it kind of covers my taxes, you know.
And again, look into your state, because in some states you cannot do that. Some states you have to have the list price plus tax.
Yeah.
So look into your locals and counties. Ooh, counties are different.
That's a whole nother ballgame.
Yeah. Here in California, the tax laws change so much county to county. So it's a pain.
Yeah.
So yeah, do your best to keep track of that. And the other thing too is, like, as much as sometimes you'll get event organizers who don't care about permits and they'll be like, don't worry about it, it's whatever. Just remember that it's your business you're risking. Yes. They don't care because you're risking your own business.
Yeah.
Sometimes state inspectors will drop in to pop-up markets unexpectedly. The organizers don't know, other vendors don't know. They just show up and they're like, let me see your paperwork. And if you don't have it, they'll shut you down.
Yeah. That's the one thing, because people ask me all the time, and I'm like, look, I even put it in my application, like, it's everywhere, like, it's your responsibility to have your proper stuff. I have all of my stuff that I need. Everything that I'm supposed to have, I have. Yeah. It's your responsibility to take care of your own stuff. Like, you know, I don't physically say, like, show me your stuff, but it's your responsibility to have your own you know, items. So there are some markets where you do have to send it to them, you know. And again, it depends on where you're going and what you're doing and the county and all that.
It also depends on the type of business the market has, because I think LLCs have, like, stricter rules for that. Yeah. So a lot of markets that have an LLC, you need to send them all of your permits and stuff, because they're accepting some of the risk. Yeah. So they need all your stuff. So again, it's gonna vary. But I would say cover your ass. Yes. And make sure you have all the stuff you need.
Like, if you're dipping your toes and you're trying to see, like, if this is something you want to do, then I say, you can hold off on it.
Get a seller's permit.
You know, do a few things, get a seller's permit, and then go from there. Because the other thing also is that you do need to, you know, and these are things that we're going to talk about. We're not going to go in depth today, but, like, these are things that we're going to be talking about, just sharing, like, our knowledge, again, for where we are, because it's going to be different where you are. But just, you know, we can still guide you in the direction to go. But, like, the thing is, too, is having, like, business licensing, like, depending on where you're, like, even if you, like, I live in Azusa, and if I go vend in Whittier, I have to get a Whittier business license, right? So it's like, there's a whole lot of stuff that goes behind it, but I think if you're just starting out, like, the basic is get your seller's permit and at least have that done. Yep. You know, everything else you can kind of wait to see, like, if this is something you want to continue to do or not. If you're a food vendor, like, there's cottage food license. This is all California stuff. I don't know about other states, but California, like, if you're a home baker, you can get your cottage food license. You gotta have a food handlers. You know, if you're selling, like, if you're cooking hot food, there's a whole lot that goes into it that you know. I try to make it easy, like, on my Instagram, I have, like, linked where people can just go to, like, LA County, because that's where we're in. So go to LA County, and where you can look up the information to get everything that you need to have your business going. But again, it's not my responsibility. Like, that's your responsibility.
And different businesses are going to have different permit requirements. Because, like, I have a friend who makes soap, and she had to get, like, permits through, like, the health department and stuff like that, because when you're selling products that go on a person's body, there's different laws and rules to make sure that what you're selling is safe and isn't going to injure somebody. So there's a whole lot going into it. So if I say, like, if you're just a crafter and you're just, like, you want to crochet, you're making cups, you're doing, like, whatever, you know, reselling books, that's the big thing too, because I'm just gonna say it, a lot of people who do resell. So you buy these items, especially, I'm not going to say names, but HK products, right? You buy all this stuff for cheap, and then you're reselling it, and, like, that's how you're making it. So you're not physically making anything with your hands, you're just reselling it. You still need to have a permit. Yep. You still have to have a seller's permit. Yeah. So it's just, that's just the basic, like, I feel like everybody should have that. Yes, there's downfalls, because you do have to pay taxes on it. There is, you know, but at the same time, you're
protecting yourself.
Yeah. Well, and then you should be collecting those taxes from your customers.
Right.
Like, you shouldn't be personally paying them. You should be collecting them and then put them into another account. Yeah. So at the end of the year, you have them to pay your taxes.
If you go to the store, you pay taxes. There should be no difference with your business. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. And sometimes consumers look a bit weird. But, like, again, if they do, just tell them, hey, you pay taxes at Walmart. Why wouldn't I be charging taxes here? I pay taxes too. Like, you know, why am I going to pay taxes for you?
Exactly. Basically. So yeah. So that was one thing that I was thinking about after we recorded the first one. Was like, we really need to talk about that too. And again, we're going to cover like all this stuff like more in detail as we go. So. Just buckle up and if you have questions, like we're gonna say this every single time, but if you have questions or you want us to cover anything in particular, let us know. Send us a message, let us know, and we'll take care of it. Like that's kind of, for me, it's all about like what we can do to help others, you know? So taking what we've learned, what we're doing, and then being able to help other people, you know, do the same thing. Yep. So not the exact same thing, but you know what I mean, like do the same thing in that sense. Yeah. So yeah. So if you guys have questions about anything to do with permits, licensing, all that good stuff, just let us know. We'll take care of it. Yep. We will do a full episode for you on that. Maybe. I don't know. It might be kind of boring. Yeah. I don't know if I can handle that. Yeah.
We'll tell you what we can.
Yeah. We'll tell you what we can do and what we can't do. Are we back?
We're back.
I was like, Are we back? Yeah, we're getting the hang of it here, guys. So yeah. So again, if you turned into last episode, you know we're recording with kids here today. So bear with us. I think that was the last interruption, so we should be good. But yeah, just any questions? You guys have any things that you guys want to learn about or whatever? Like we're here to help with what we can. So
yep.
Yeah. So I guess we dive into like the fun parts now. I don't know if it's fun or not. It's been really it's been a learning process, but like talking about like how you get started as a market. Because I know I get a lot of questions, especially from vendors that want to start hosting themselves. On like, okay, what do I do with this? What do I do with that? What do I do with this? And I'll say, guys, I'm not a gatekeeper. So I'm not a gatekeeper, but I'm also not going to give you all my like trade secrets. It's taken me all this time to like figure out either. So I'm not going to gatekeep, but I'm not going to do the work for you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, we're not going to go into like the real deep.
Yeah.
We're going to give you an overview. We're going to let you know.
Yeah. So I'll say like for me, just to even like talk about like how I even got started hosting, I think is kind of like the beginning point is, you know, because I was vending and you've experienced it as well. And I think we've all experienced it is that, you know, I was vending at these different markets and, you know, it's no like, there were some really great ones, but there's also some really, really bad ones.
Yeah.
And not bad in the sense that I like didn't make money, but just bad in like organization, like how I felt there, how I felt the host, you know, like stuff like that. When I say bad, that's what I mean. It's like not feeling, I guess, valued. Because, like, honestly, if you're hosting a market, like, my job depends on you guys.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I can't host a market with no vendors. Yep. I mean, so I was doing these markets, and I was just like, I don't know. I was kind of getting over it, because I was like, I did so many, like, back-to-back that were just, I just didn't feel like they cared about, like, us and what we were doing as vendors. And so, and I'll never forget it, like, Active 7 Fitness, Tracy, the owner there, she at one of the markets was like, hey, Nikki, how come you don't host? I think you'd be really good at it. And I was like, I don't know, I never really thought about it. And at that point, and, you know, we're going to talk about, maybe I should preface this. We're going to be talking about my old business partner. I won't say names. I won't do that. If you know, you know. But I'm not going to keep my mouth shut anymore either about, like, what happened. Because everybody asked, and I'm, like, just very vague. Because I'm not going to say, like, everything. That's not anybody's business. And I'm not going to, like, put anyone down. But I'm just going to be honest about what happened. So, that person, my old business partner, was standing there, too, and was like, oh, I could do that with you. That would be fun. And I just was kind of, like, on the spot, like, okay, like, you know, let's do it. So we planned on doing it, and, you know, I learned a lot that first event of, like, figuring out, like, oh my gosh, like, okay, you need to have, I needed to make sure, like, I needed to have insurance, there was a lot of things that you have to do to, like, cover yourself, to get that going. How do you, like, start an Instagram page? Because having social media is crucial. Yeah. For owning a business, and then for also hosting, like, markets, like, you need that. You have to have social media nowadays.
Yes, I would definitely say that like 9 out of 10 customers will ask, where can I follow you?
Where can I follow you? Yeah. So whether it be whatever social media is, I'll say Instagram's probably like, I don't know, in my opinion, Instagram's probably like the biggest one. Instagram and TikTok, but TikTok's more, I don't know, people are more like, TikTok Shop I think is really good, but like as far as like following to like watch what you're doing, Instagram's super popular.
Agreed. Yeah, most people want to follow you on
Instagram. Most people have an Instagram at this point, so I think Instagram's like definitely something you really want to make sure that you have. But so like learning how to navigate like that, because you have to. My biggest thing was like I wanted to be organized. I like that was my biggest thing was to be organized, to have a map, to have this, to have that, like just to make sure everything was right. And so you need to make sure that you're able to, if you're planning on hosting a market, you want to make sure that you're able to give all of your spare time to it when you're first starting. Literally, like it takes a lot to run a market, because as a vendor, I'm just getting the directions from the market host. I'm showing up. I'm doing my part. I'm running that, and that's it. As a host, it's a whole different ball game. I'm getting messages from 50, 60, 100 people a day that I need to address. I'm getting messages from the venues. I'm making sure that, that my maps are down. You have to make sure that, what giveaways am I going to do? Like, there's so much that goes into hosting that you need to make sure you have the time to dedicate to do it.
Yeah.
Going out, I'm a big believer that going out into the community where the event's going to happen and putting flyers is crucial. So you need to set aside time to do that as well. Go to the other businesses that are around where you're going to be hosting. Can I leave a flyer here? So their customers know about it, right?
Yep.
I mean, I think when you're wanting to host, I think that's the biggest thing is to keep in mind is that, you're going to spend a lot of money, and you're going to spend a lot of time when you're first starting. 100%, a lot of time. That was the one thing, like, when I very, very first started with, like, my business partner, is that I'm good at, like, social media, docs, like, spreadsheet, like, I'm really good at all that stuff. That's just something sounds weird, but, like, it's stuff I like doing. Yeah. I don't know why I'm weird like that, but I like doing it. And so, I was doing all of that work. And then when it came to, like, event day, then they would show up and help, obviously, on event day, but there's more than just the event day, and I think that's what people don't understand when you're wanting to host.
Yeah. Oh, totally. And I mean, from event,
you're seeing some behind the scenes, like, now.
Yeah, because I've been helping you with the markets and stuff. Yeah. And what I'm doing is nothing. Like, I get their day of and I help set up.
That is not nothing. That is a lot, just so you know. That is a whole lot.
Okay. It is a minor part of it. But it's just like running a business. Like, you might see us at a pop-up, and even counting the work that we do for that day, that's nothing compared to what I'm doing behind the scenes.
Right.
Because it is so much work. Like, sometimes you have so much, like, paperwork and planning and organizing and all this back-end stuff to do that it does take a lot of time away from, like, actually creating stuff. And that does kind of suck that, like, oh man, I'd really like to sit down and come up with some new designs, but I have zero time for that.
Right.
So it is very hard to, like, balance your time. If you don't have good time management, it would be hard to do this as a vendor. If you don't have good time management, don't even try and be an event organizer.
You 100%, don't.
Like, I've gone to some events that, like, I don't want to be mean, but, like, it's very obvious that either the organizer doesn't know what they're doing or just doesn't care.
Yeah.
Not caring is the worst. I was going to say I don't know what's worse. Not caring is worse. Like, if they don't know what they're doing, I'll give you grace. I hope you learn. But if you just don't care, that sucks.
Well, my thing is, because this is what I hear it from people, about other markets, and then I hear chatter, I'm a very observant person. So if I'm quiet, just know that I'm scanning and listening and watching and seeing. But that there are some organizers who get into it specifically for money.
Yeah.
Because they think I can have 20 vendors, charge them $100, there's $2,000, and I'm good. Like, and you can tell that they don't give a shit about the community. They don't care about the vendors. They don't care about anything other than they got paid, and that's it.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to start a market for that purpose, you're probably not going to go very far.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. We all want to make money.
Yes.
However, you lose a lot of money before you make money. Like, a business is such a huge investment.
What do they say? It takes 5 years
to, like, make
before you actually are making,
like, you can live off of your business. Like, technically, if you look at my books, I've made a profit in my first year. However, I can't live off of that money because it's all going back into the business. Yeah. Because I have to put aside money for, my future vendor fees. I have to put aside money for my equipment will eventually go out. I have to put aside money for new equipment, better equipment, stock and inventory, So you're constantly putting so much money into your business. It's going to be a while before you can actually live off of that money.
Yeah.
And, you can definitely tell the event organizers who are just trying to make a quick buck. and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. I was in the red for the first, 8 months, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say when I first started hosting, mm-hmm. because it was July of 2023 mm-hmm. is when I hosted my first market. So July, August, September, October, November, December. So for the first 6 months, because I had a partner mm-hmm. that, how do I say this? Because, the thing is, I need money, too. My doctor took me off work, and it was, I have no income. You know, we live off of my husband's income. And if you live in California, you can't live off of one income.
Yeah.
And so, he was thank God I have such an amazing husband that was look, you really enjoy what you're doing. Make it work.
Yeah.
Make it happen. Do what you need to do, make it happen, We can carry ourselves for a little while and it'll be okay. But so that for this first 6 months, there wasn't a whole lot of investing back into the market mm-hmm. because my partner was it's we need money. We need money. Which again, I get it. We do need money, but, yeah, that's not why I started this, though. That's not why I wanted to do this. And so I think that was kind of the big thing. Yes, I need money to live. I'm going to make sure that I make money.
Yeah.
But it's not only about money.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that's a big factor when you're starting a business, whether you're vending, whether you're hosting, whether you're opening a brick and mortar, whether you're opening a restaurant, whatever it is you're doing. Yes, we need to make money, but if that's your sole purpose, you're not going to go far.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to go far. So I think, for me, I didn't really invest much back into it, and I was doing probably 80% of the work because, again, the work doesn't happen just the event day. That's only 20% of the work is the event day.
Totally.
All the stuff happens before then. Social media posting, getting your applications, organizing it. I sit, you see my scraps over here of my papers. I draw out a map. I put everybody next to each other. Okay, who's got cups? Who's got this? Making sure, I'm very, I like to be very organized because I want everybody to just to pull up and just be this is where I go, this is what I do, and that's it. And not have to worry about it, So it's setting up is only 20% of what goes into hosting a market. So for me, it came down to I was doing 80% of the work, but for 50% of the profit. Yeah. And I was And I had, my goals have my vision has always been the same with wanting to start this, mm-hmm. is that I just wanted to be able to help small businesses like myself, and then really help support the community and just give back. And, I don't know, Louis told me the other day, he was I don't know, how, because he knows my story. Obviously, we've been together for, oh my gosh, I don't even, 18 years now? Uh-huh. I think it's 18 years now. It was he knows my whole story, and he was I don't know how you've lived the life you lived, and you're still, as giving, and, always wanting to do something for somebody else. He's I don't know why. He's I don't think he's I'm not like that. He was I don't know how you continue to do that even when people wrong you. And I'm I don't, it's just who I am. So my whole vision's always been about how do we help? How do we help each other? How do we support each other? How do mm-hmm. How do we make this work? So
agreed.
Yeah, when it was just strictly about money, I was I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
I don't do this anymore. And it was a hard decision. It was a really hard decision. My friends that I talked to behind the scenes, one of them said, you're just gonna be Beyonce now. you're just gonna be Beyonce. You're gonna leave Destiny's Child, just be Beyonce. And I had fought with the decision for a few months before I actually even said this is it. Because again, my focus, my vision and drive is, I'm looking at 10 years down the road. I'm not looking at this week, mm-hmm. if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're hosting markets and you're just wanting it for money, good luck. There is money to be made, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing it yet, but I will. I know I will at some point, but it's if that's your sole purpose, the vendors know too.
Mm-hmm.
We know. And it's a small community, y'all.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how many how small it actually is. Like, you think it's like so many people, and then you find out like who knows who, and you see the same people over and over again.
Yep.
And like, even going to different markets, I'll see a lot of the same vendors at a lot of the different markets. And we all talk to each other, and we're all like, yeah, don't do this one. Yeah, do this one.
Yeah, so that's, I don't know. So it was a hard decision because, like, I mean, I'm getting excited right now because it's my first year as Best Vibe, and like, and then just turning nonprofit now. Like, the vision is it's just getting stronger and stronger. It's not like weakening, which is why I know like I'm on the right track. Like, when I'm still excited about what I'm doing, you know, because it's work and I get overwhelmed. Like, like. You know, I'm so tired of making effing maps for people. Because it becomes tedious. Like, damn, like, I just want to give, like, this is your spot every time, no matter what. Like, that's where you're going to be. Like, that's what I want to get to, and we will. So, like, everybody just has a designated spot, and we don't have to worry about it. But, yeah, because when you take this on as a business, it's work now.
Yeah.
It's work now. So, I don't know. It's a whole lot. So if you're trying to host and you're thinking, like, I'm just going to do it so I can make some money, good luck. Make sure you do what you need to do. Like, get your insurance, have your permits, get licensed, make sure that the venues you're working with have the same values as what you have. The venues that are 2 permanent spots, like, they support the vision and they're all about that, and that's why I will forever be with them. Because the vision's the same. It's like, how do we help each other in this community and everybody thrive? That's the goal. I think in life, like, you have to have a community around you in life.
Agreed.
So when
the whole "it takes a village"
thing. So when you're running a business, like, it should be the same thing. So, I mean, there's a whole lot that goes into hosting. We'll definitely talk about later on, but for now, I think that's my big part.
The big ones.
Yeah, those are the big ones. Is like, make sure that you're doing that stuff, and again, have some originality. I know we said that with like starting a business, but it's the same thing with hosting.
I mean, it is still a business. It's just another type of business.
It's and have some. I'm just gonna call it. I'm just gonna go there. Whatever. I'm just gonna go there. Like, I started when I went on my own. Talk About You Tuesday is something that I do on Best Vibes Instagram page, and that was, again, like, one of my missions was like, it's not about Nikki, it's about all of us collectively, and so I started that a year ago. We just celebrate. I should have posted this last week. Was our 1 year of Talk About You Tuesday. So. Now, there's so many different, like, talk about you things, which I think is great because you should be sharing your platform. And sharing people's stuff. But I also see a lot of people just, like, literally copying and pasting, like, my post. And it's like, I don't care, whatever. Like, honestly, like, to each his own. Again, I'm that type of person that's like, well, if you're copying me, I'm doing something right. I'm doing something right, but, like, have some originality with your hosting as well. Don't just throw together an HK event and there you go. And I don't say names for a reason, so you'll hear in one of these upcoming episodes that I got sued, and I don't mess with that. At all, because I got sued, and we ain't going there. So we say HK. We say HK characters, whatever. Like, right? Like, anything but what we're actually talking about. So, I don't know. I just feel like have some originality with what you're doing. I think is key as well. Most of us give away free items at events. Like, that's just something we do.
Most markets do.
But get some original items to give away, if that makes sense. I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's such a staple now that, like, all markets do it. It seems to work. It brings some people in. I would say don't go overboard. Like, there are some markets that give away, like, too much stuff, and then people aren't going to shop now. You just gave away everything that they would have bought.
That they would have bought, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe don't do that. I don't know. I think it's one of those things where you kind of have to gauge and you have to learn from experience. Talk to your vendors, because the vendors will let you know. Most of the markets that I do will send some type of survey every now and then of, hey, what's working for you? What's not? How can we improve? What do we do wrong? You know what I mean? So that way you can hear from the vendors, because even the good organizers that I go to, they're going to make mistakes. They're going to, like, not do stuff that works. And then, you know, what makes them a good organizer is the fact that they're open to that feedback. That we can go to them and say, hey, this didn't work. I didn't like that. And, you know, the other thing, too, is there's a lot of, like, problem solving and mediating you have to do as an event organizer, because like as a vendor, like if my neighbor is like putting all their tables in my space and I've said, hey, stop, and they're not, then now coming to you, the organizer, and being like, dude, you got to get a hold of your vendor, because I paid for my 10 by 10 spot. Yeah. And that's my whole spot. Yeah. Don't let them come in here and start setting up in my space. Now, you as the organizer, you need to go handle that.
Yes.
Because I'm your customer.
And that was something, I'll be completely honest, like, I didn't think about that when I first started hosting. It wasn't until I had my first issue that I was like, oh, oh shit, like, I have to navigate that. And it's been, luckily I've only had, you know, I've been doing this for a while, and I've only had, like, 2 major incidences where I was just like, oh my gosh. And then, you know, a few small ones where, like, the vendors, like, hey, they're setting up in my spot, and, you know, and you have to, how do I say, like, you can't, like, my personality is very much like, okay, let's be calm, like, how do we help each other, you know what I mean, like, but if you don't have that kind of personality, like, and you talk to people a certain type of way, like, that's not your spot, you need to move, like, that's gonna cause chaos also. So yeah, you do have to mediate, and like, it hasn't happened, I'm like, we better knock on some wood. Right. It hasn't happened too much. The times that it did happen, it was crazy. I was like, what is going on right now? Because as a host also, like, I've been, like, screamed at, like, in my face, where I was, the first time that ever happened, I don't want to say scared, but honestly a little bit, because it was a big tall man, and you know, I'm 5 foot Nikki, you know, and it was a little like worrisome, especially it happened in front of a bunch of people and nobody said or did anything. Yeah. And I was just like, wow, okay, that's another thing you have to look at as a host too, who you have around you. Mm-hmm. Because that time that happened right there, I made sure who I have at my events now, as far as vendors and people helping me set up and all that I know who they are and that they have my back. Yeah. Because, you know, we had a charity. So with being a nonprofit, all of our events are going to be geared towards fundraising now for lots of different things. It just so happened that we turned nonprofit and then we had these horrendous wildfires. Yep. The day I got the news I was a nonprofit, the fire started. So it was, you know, it's been challenging to say the least, but we've done fundraisers, and so we did our first fundraiser event, the first one of the entire year, even too. Welcome 2025. We're gonna have an event. We're gonna have a fundraiser. Great time, all that. And it was a beautiful day. And at the end of the end of the market, one of the vendors was trying to hurry up apparently, and before the market was even over, trying to drive their car in. Yeah. And she starts yelling at my helper, who was getting all the donations. Starts yelling at him. So then I had to go intervene. Yeah. And then the MFer came out, and oh my gosh, like, it was wild. Yeah. It was wild. The language that was happening, and then other people came and got involved. But I'll tell you what did happen that day. And this is where you need to make sure you have the right people around you. As I'm staying calm, cool, and collected as much as I can, trying to make sure I know who this person is, because it was a new vendor. Yeah. So I wanted to make sure I knew who they were, because I blacklist people, and I don't care if you're watching this and you're blacklisted. you did it to yourself. I'm sorry. If you come at me crazy and sideways and are mean or rude or like anything else, like just like a restaurant, like I have a right to refuse service.
Yeah.
Like, so, you know, I want to make sure that if you're going to be talking to people this way, you can't be at our market. We're family friendly markets. You can't be cussing and yelling and screaming and causing chaos.
Yes.
Not going to happen. So I turn around after I figure out who this vendor is. I turn around and I see vendors coming from this side, like, what's going on? And then I see the venue all running out. And so all of a sudden the lady looks around like, oh, she knew she was screwed because there was a circle of like, no. You're not going to talk to anyone that way, you know? So, yeah, you have to be, as a host, like, all that responsibility is on you. That's not on anyone else. Mm-hmm. You know, I can't be like, hey, Monique, go handle that.
You're right.
You know, like, no, like, that's on you. So, you do have to, you have to...
Yeah, that's what me as a vendor is paying the event organizer for. That's part of what I'm paying for is for you to deal with all of that.
Yep. And as an organizer, you're being paid to promote. You're being paid. Like, I put on my applications, because I think that's a big one, is like there are some people who are like, you have to share this every, like, they push it, like, and I hear it, you know, because again, I haven't been vending for a while, so I'm not at other markets, so, but I get feedback from other vendors, and that's kind of like what I work with as well to help me grow and change and evolve and make sure, you know, that I'm doing the best that I can. But like I get feedback like, oh, they're like, tell me I have to do this, and it's like, no, you're paying me to promote the event. Now, should you share that you're going to be there? Yeah, absolutely, because you want your customers to come, but it's not your job to do that. Yeah, it's not. That's my job to do that.
Yeah. I might bring my customers, but you're bringing general customers who are going to shop at like the whole
And as a host, you need to remember that's your job. Yeah. That's your job. You cannot expect your vendors to just post for you and think that that's it. You also can't expect that you're just going to post your stuff on social media and get all your customers that way, because you're not.
Yeah, all the good markets that I know of, they pay for advertising. Yep. And most of them still flyer. Like, you'd be surprised how much in-person advertising still is a big thing.
I've tested it, and that's why I flyer, because I've tested it. Yeah. Early on, when I went solo, I tested it. I did like 2 or 3 markets where I didn't flyer at all, just to see like what was and the turnout was pretty low. Yeah. You know, and that was no flyers, no nothing. The next 3 markets, I consistently did flyers. We had double to triple the turnout, just simply because the community. Think about this: you go to the grocery store, you're going to your car, and you see on a pole this bright sign. Oh, there's something going on this day. Let me make sure I stop by. Yeah, you know what I mean. And that's the thing, is like, in person is so crucial. Yes, I do social media. I'm on all of the sites. I think all of them. I think I'm on all of them, right? Yeah. And I post on social media. I do that, but I also do avenues like posting on Ring, posting on Nextdoor, Craigslist. Like, there are so many different avenues to post your events, you know, that you really need. That's, again, I think that's why I said, it's very time consuming. Yeah. It's very... If you're creating an event, just like when I do my Eventbrite, when I list on Eventbrite, I love Eventbrite. You know, it's got its flaws, but I post everything on Eventbrite. You know, that's one of my go-tos. Eventbrite, Nextdoor, and then my social media is like for sure. But when you're creating, you got to create the flyer. You want it to be unique. You want it to be eye-catching. You create the flyer, and then you're creating these events. Like, that alone takes time, you know, so it's like you really need to be understanding that if you're trying to do this as a job, it's going to take time. That's why I've worked with some venues where they're like, I really want to have this market here, but I don't want to do the work. I don't want to do the work, so like, will you come in and do it for us, you know? So it's a lot. There's so much that goes into it that honestly, like, I don't know. And then here in California, it's really hard to get insurance in California. Like, there's so many different things that you have to really navigate through. Again, if you're going to do it properly. Yeah. If you don't care, then, you know, just see what happens. But, you know, then you're going to have, I don't know. As a vendor, I think another thing you want to look at, this is like as a vendor perspective, is like, am I going to a market where the market consistently has different people every time? Like, is there no consistency? Yeah, that says a lot.
That's a red flag. When you don't see repeat vendors at a market, that's a red flag, because there's a reason why people aren't going back. Yeah. If it's a good market, your vendors will come back. Like,
even if you have a slow day. Yeah. So
and those are gonna happen. I have never heard of a single event organizer who has had every single market be a success. There's always gonna be bumps.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's just the nature of this type of business. That's the risk you're taking. You can set up a marketplace, but that doesn't mean people are going to come and shop.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I would say, like, as an organizer too, I would say, like, if you're wanting to get into organizing, keep a notepad as well. Just like vendors, I say keep the notepad to track what you're doing. Yeah. Keep a notepad to track, like, what went well at your event and what didn't. Mm-hmm. I have, like, specific days that I'm like, we won't do events there. We won't do, like, I did. I'm just gonna, like, one quick example is, like, when I did the backpack drive this year. Mm-hmm. Great turnout. We had amazing, tons of people came. Like, we handed out, I think, 100 backpacks we were able to hand out. Yeah. But they weren't there to shop because they were there. They don't have money to shop, right? Yeah, they were there. So my backpack drive this year is not going to be a vendor market. Yeah. It's going to be different because I learned that doesn't work. And so, again, for me, I don't want to just take your money. I'm like, yeah, Monique, come, let me just take your money. I don't care what happens. Like, that's not how I function. So I'm like, I have notes of, like, what worked and didn't work. And like you said earlier, like, giving away the different stuff. Like, I was giving away cups for a while, and I was like, oh, shit, that's not good, because then they're not going to go buy a cup from the from the cup maker. So, like, I do different things. Like, we just did a Happy Poo Year event. Yeah. And I sold cups that I made, very specific cups that I made, and they got a drink with it, right? Yeah. But I only did a few of them, so it's like, yeah, there's just so much. But I think if you're able to give yourself the time to put everything together, mm-hmm. and also be understanding that it's going to take time to grow. I don't know. You just really have to be, like, committed to doing it, I think, before you, and, like, look at everything, because there's a lot of people that host a market or two and they're like, yeah, this is too much. I don't want to do this, so know your limits, I guess. That's the other thing. Yeah. Know your limits.
There's a reason why being an event organizer is a job. Yeah. Because it's organizing events is a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And whether you're doing markets or you're doing fundraisers or you're doing weddings or whatever it is, like, it's a job. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. That was one thing I didn't consider it a job until, like, fairly recently when someone asked me, like, why don't you go get a job? And I was like, but I work really effing hard. Yeah. Like, I'm working really hard. Like, I can't. Yeah. At this point, to continue Best Vibe how it is, I can't work a full-time regular job. I can't do a 9-to-5. Yeah. There's no way. Not with especially right now, we're in a growing phase. I'm calling it my growing era right now, because there is no way that I can do what I want to do this year and work a 9-to-5. Like, it's just nearly impossible. Yeah. So, I don't know. I think that's, again, there's a whole lot more that comes with running markets. There's a whole lot more that comes with vending. We're going to talk about all of it, but just be mindful of what you're doing and why you're getting into it, I think, is my big takeaway from this whole thing. Like, and ask questions. Ask questions, mm-hmm. Again, I'm not going to do the work for you, and I'm not going to just hand you over a book that says this is everything I did, and then you can do it too and be successful. I'm not going to do that, because I do feel like you have to learn as well. But I'll say, like, check with the city that you're going to host. You know what I mean? Like, I'll help steer you in the right direction. I'm not going to just give you everything, but I'm not going to gatekeep either, you know? So there's cheap things that you can do to help your event. I wish I would have done that initially, because when I went on my own this year, oh Lord, I spent everything I had. Everything I had. We're going to take it. Can you please walk out? Thank you. Welcome to the podcast.
We have grandkids.
Trying to tell your 6, almost 7-year-old grandson, like, I just need a little bit of time here. He did so good. I'm so proud of him.
Yeah.
But he's done
like
now.
Almost
He's
the whole episode.
Yeah, he's over it now. He's like, all right, Grandma, are you gonna feed me or what? Or what?
Yep.
So
that was our cue to wrap it up.
Yeah. That's our he's our timer for today. So that worked out. So yeah, guys, I don't know. I just feel like anytime you're wanting to start anything, like, make sure it's really what you want to do. Know that you're gonna have days where you don't want to work, because I have those days, and I think that is one big benefit about being your own boss, is that when I am having one of those days, I take it now.
Yeah.
For me, my husband travels a lot for work, and so when he's home, I like to hang out with him. For the longest time, like, I was just so focused on work, that now it's like, no, I can take 2 days off and spend time with him and do whatever I want and not have to worry about it. And so when you're your own boss, you can do that. Yep. You can do that, but also just make sure that, like, you're not neglecting, especially if you're hosting, don't neglect your vendors, man. There is no you without them. There's no harm in being nice. There's no harm in answering DMs that people send you. Yeah. There's no harm in, answering questions. Like, certain things I'm like, okay, look, you do, like, here, go here, and that'll give you all the information. But I'm not going to just ignore somebody. I think that's wrong. I just think that's wrong. I don't know. Let me get off my soapbox on that. Yeah. Yeah, just things to keep in mind. So, again, if you guys have more questions, if you want to know more,
let us know.
Yeah, we'll do what we can to cover everything. And,
we'll try and talk about it.
We'll be talking about a lot of different stuff. As you can see, again, like we said initially, like, we're not scripted, so we're just going to go with whatever.
We're just going to ramble.
Whatever feels like coming out that day is what's going to happen. So, we got through episode 1 and 2. No more counting, because we don't know what's
exactly. Episode numbers will be up when they're
up. They'll be there when they be there. So, yeah, really excited. Thank you guys for joining us on this journey, and we look forward to sharing more fun and exciting things with you.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
Bye. Done.